All those are such beautiful stories of where we come from, our way of life, and say in Clackman, the way we used to live with each other and the earth. That's where we come from. And I think of the seagoing people. Oh, I have huge respect for the canoes they used to build without metal. They'd build these gorgeous seagoing canoes out of the cedar tree. I helped build the two canoes, and those carvers, how to make the hull or the part of that canoe where everything's exact same width. It's like magic. They draw it out and they instruct us what to do. We don't go too far, and things like that. And imagine our people doing that, your people doing that. They had canoes for sealing, hunting seals, for picking seaweed, for whale hunting, all kinds of canoes. I was on a riverboat canoe in Chehalis. It's up in the Fraser Valley. It's nighttime and we're spearing and gaffing salmon and we're going to smoke it. And there we are, we could stand up on this canoe. It was so built in such a way, there's a river canoe. It's almost impossible to tip it over. And then you had a light on a pole up on top and you could see the fish moving around in the river because it was spawning time. They were coming into the river to head up the river to lay their eggs. So we go there and you can pick what salmon you want. That's how brilliant Indigenous people were. Like those big seiners they got out in the ocean, they catch all kinds of fish. Just take it all. Indigenous people, we chose what we want. And so there we are getting these salmon. And I was so impressed with that, but the most impressive thing was the canoe, because it was hand carved. And it's a river canoe. So, that's the people that we come from, all of us. As you go farther inland, and we made canoes out of cottonwood trees, and plus birch bark. So just to make those, to carry a whole moose, that's incredible. That's just amazing, So, yeah. So we got something to fall back on as Indigenous people. That's why I love to talk to young people, and I tell them where we come from as a people. And you talk to it's getting to be so few now, but when I was young, I could talk to elders. I talked to elders I'd never ever seen a white person until they're in their 20s. So in a sense, they grow up pure, Indigenous. And I talked to a man that was born in a pit house, our traditional houses that were built halfway under the ground. So I could listen to his story. So I had a connection to the past. We still have that, but we need to start taking advantage of it even more. And we can because of what we're doing right now. This is a tool. The internet's a tool. It connects us. Look at, I'm way in Brandon, Manitoba, and you guys are in Vancouver and Clem too, and you guys are picking flowers and the ground's just thawing out over here. Because I've been thinking about a health revolution now in the last 20 years. And I'll probably, like I could say I'm a failure, but I'm a happy failure because I don't give up. I try to convince people, don't harm yourself with tobacco, with booze, with drugs, with junk food and stuff like that, and don't swear at people, and and I know I started out being an addictions counselor in 1976.
Oh, wow.
And we were walking around saying by the year 2000, all Indigenous people in North America are going to be sober, alcohol and drug free. Well, we failed, but at least we're working hard at it.
What's your advice to your friends and family if they're stressed about COVID-19? For both of you.
My advice to my family, like I phoned my brother. As soon as this started happening, I phoned him because I'm worried about him because he's diabetic. And I said, Bradley, I said, I don't know what you know about this, but I'm going to tell you. I said that virus, what I've heard is that it can live 72 hours on a solid surface. That's why you must wash your hands. Soon, if you touch somebody's, like the store handle on the door, and somebody coughed in their hand and put their hand on there, that virus is sitting on there. Up to 72 hours, I said. So you have to be really careful. So if you're going to touch anything, wash your hands. Like when I go to town, last time I went to town, I wore gloves. That's 3 weeks ago, and I live in town. The last time I went out, I wore gloves. As soon as I come in, I throw them in the laundry. Changed all my clothes. So that's what I'm telling him. And I said, I asked him to be patient with me because he probably knows he's a real smart man. But I wanted to get it out of my system and tell him. So I told him, and this distancing thing, because somebody coughs or sneezes, that liquid goes through the air in little droplets. It can land on you. It's a something like that now, so it doesn't go out. I said, so you make sure you stay away from people. And this is the hardest part is the ones that you're living with. I said, you have to sit down with them and tell them what's a no-no. Because we all have relatives that still drink and do drugs and stuff. I said, we have to be really honest with them and tell them, if you go out there and you come back, I could die from this virus. So we have to be, in the sense, blunt and truthful to make sure they get it. You hear that saying, Nietzsche, get it? Did you get it? So we have to make it clear for them, because my brother's a real smart man, but I told him those things, and that's what I'll tell my family. We don't want to hurt anyone. So going out, being with people that you don't know where they've been, they may have it. It's one of the scariest things that happened in my lifetime. Like they talk about the Spanish flu and the smallpox and stuff, they faced that. But this one, I never thought I would be like this, trapped in my house, not being able to go anywhere. But I tell our people, I tell my family, we're here today because our ancestors, when the smallpox first come to us in BC, they had schwannam, those were healers that could see what's killing the people. So they said, we have to stay away from the shama, that's the Europeans, because they're carrying the sickness in them and they'll pass it on to us. So they moved away from their winter villages, which were permanent structures like a longhouse. And they moved far into the mountains to stay away from where the white guys were going. They were mining and doing stuff like that. Through where I'm from, they're looking for gold. So when they stayed away, they distanced themselves. Really smart people. And that's why I'm here today. Because they say up to 80% of the Statlian people died from smallpox. That's a large number of people. The ones that survived are the ones that listen to the Shunams, the ones that can see, the ones that know. So we have to listen to those people. I'm listening to them, right now. And, at the beginning of this, I wanted to go to BC to Gov, gathering our voices and different things that were happening there. But I said, no, I'm not going even before restrictions. I said, this is an elder killer. I want to stay alive, but I still got work to do. So that's what I tell my family. I say, you have to really, I phoned my daughter and she says, Dad, don't worry about us. We're following that, we're distancing ourselves. Just one of us will go shopping for everybody. I have 3 daughters living in the same reserve. And they take turns. Only one will go shopping. And the other one stay home. Then they come back and they divide it up. As soon as one comes back, shower, do all that. So, put all the clothes in the laundry and stay safe. Yeah. Really important, critical time.
Yeah, and similarly, when at the outset of the self-isolating, the quarantine, I had conversations with my brother and my cousin who lived with my mom back home, and definitely wanted to, I was afraid that I was annoying them sometimes because I was so persistent, and I was calling them almost every day for a couple weeks there and really insisting no more coffee rides, no more cruises. Mom's got she's got an compromised immune system, and there's just like absolutely zero margin for any risks, unnecessary risks here. So if you boys leave the house, be really careful when you come in to wash your hands, change your clothes. You take this really seriously. You take this more seriously than your friends are taking it, or people in the community might be taking it. You observe these restrictions, please. And I know that they were annoyed for a couple weeks, but then, more and more the news reports started to catch up with the things that I was saying. And I think they started to take it really seriously. And so now it's, that's just the advice that I would give to friends, is not taking any unnecessary risks. So I know a lot of people miss dance parties, miss being together, miss doing all kinds of things, and I certainly do as well. But meeting up right now for bigger group events is just not a safe thing to do. And I think just observing the quarantine measures and being really careful to keep a distance and wear a mask if you can, just to protect the people in our communities, because Indigenous communities this isn't the first time we've experienced a pandemic. And like Gerry shares those stories so eloquently, we have lessons to learn from those experiences, from the survivors of those epidemics and those pandemics, because we don't want to repeat what happened in the past. 80% is a gruesome number. 8 out of 10 people that is not something that we want to repeat. So just taking it very seriously and being patient, and knowing that this isn't going to last forever, and we will one day be able to gather again in a large group. That's kind of what I try to impress upon people, is this isn't forever. We do things correctly, for the next 18 months or however long it takes for researchers to develop a vaccine, then we just need to continue to be strong.
What's the value of a positive message?
This is the biggest gift, the positive message, because you can fill people up with good energy again. As soon as we start feeling a little down, if somebody doesn't help us stop it, we can go all the way down. We could, when I used to get depressed after I quit drinking, you know what I used to do? Of course you don't, because you didn't see me. I used to go junk food junkie. I go to this place where they sell this burger called the Monster Burger. 2 or 3 patties with wieners and bacon and a fried egg and a great big order of fries, and I'd put vinegar and ketchup and gravy and salt, and I just have a great big Coca-Cola, and a junk food junkie, and I just eat, That's not positive, but it sort of worked in a way, but it wasn't good for me. So when I started to hear the positive messages, like free yourself, and, or each day you get stronger, and heard those messages, and I start to, what I say, absorb them. The people lay teachings at your feet, and it's up to you to pick them up. So I started picking up these teachings, and there were positive messages like, "You're okay, Gerry. You're good." It took me a long time to accept that, because I beat myself up so often in my life because of that residential school and stuff like that, right? I carried along residential school so long. I shouldn't have done that, but I didn't know any better. It got heavy, and my life got heavy. So when I started to finally hear these positive messages, like Squallowin, we've got a good mind and a good heart. That's what we have. It's a good mind and a good heart to make sure that we connect our mind and our heart. Because if we live in our mind too much, we overthink things. It's easy to get depressed or angry or afraid. But your heart and your mind are connected. And they gave that positive message of doing that. Then we're thinking with feeling, and we're aware of other people's feelings. So it's always good for me to hear some positive feedback, or just know somebody's doing good. That's a good message too. Like my brother, I phoned him up and I phoned him up again, and the most surprising thing about this is my brother and I, the last time we talked was an hour and a half on the phone. And usually it's 5 minutes max. Oh, how are you doing? Good. Oh, okay. How are you doing? Oh, I'm doing good. Yeah. And the so-so got a deer last week. Oh, okay, good. And then we hang up. This time we're talking about elders we knew, elders we know, different things that we're doing and stuff. And we're more connected. And the positive message, I think, is the medicine that's going to keep us going here. One of the things I miss the most is the hugs of my granddaughters and great granddaughter. That's the most positive message. And I remember telling one of my granddaughters, I was cooking for her in a barbecue, and I was teaching her about positive messages. I said, you always thank the people that are cooking for you. And because that way they'll cook even better, because you're thanking them. And they'll want to cook for you all the time. So she's sitting there and she's a little girl and her little feet are swinging off her chair, and I'm cooking chicken and burgers on the barbecue and some salmon. And she's sitting there sort of looking around the way little girls do. And then she says, Papa? I said, what? What do I know? She says, do you know you're probably the best barbecuer in the whole wide world? And I go, whoa, granddaughter, I'll cook for you any day of your life. See, the positive message just filled me right up. Even now when I tell that story, it fills me up. That's the best medicine. Like my grandmother says, squisha kal kalut apa. She says, don't you ever use bad, harsh language when you're talking to other human beings. She says, because you'll hurt them. Ama kalut son. She says, always good words, good messages. Then you're going to have a big circle of friends. You have lots of help in your life. So that's a positive messages. Best medicine.
Awesome. That's all my questions for today. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you. Yeah.
I want to say Masi Cho. Thank you. Thank you, Jamie and Olivia, for having us. It's been great to talk to you this morning. Nice to see you both.
In the big house, the speaker stands up in Musqueam, where I was taken in there. And this is not my people, but that's the first time I was in a big house, because where I'm from, we had big underground houses. But in the big house, I'd hear him standing up, Haichka siyam, kwam squalwinsa hieltet siyam, I squalwinsa hieltet siyam, Haichka siyam, squalaqua siyam. And then they're talking in the big house. They're saying, thank you, you important people, CM, the ones they lift up high in the air. Thank you. You're helping Gerry to have a good mind and a good heart, a strong mind and a strong heart. That's how the people speak in the big house in their positive messages, So I really thank you for having me. I'm more filled with hope to see such young people helping the people. It really makes me feel good. It's a positive message for me. So thank you for making my day today by you asking me questions. That's one thing I wish that more young people would ask the elders questions. I tell them, you guys know what indigenous Google is? It's ask an elder. So you guys have a good day. Don't be afraid. If you want to ever get me on Big Houses again, I'll come again. Maybe
Okay.
tell more stories and stuff like that. Okay?
That'd be so cool.
Okay.
I just want to say make sure to check out Teachings in the Air. It's on SoundCloud, right?
Yes. And Google Play and what
Apple,
else, Eugene?
Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
You could say people all over the world listen to Teachings in the Air. All over the world, even in Russia, right, Eugene?
It's true.
Yeah.
We've got listeners, yeah, all the way around. In Australia, yeah, we've got listeners. Even we've had some listeners in South Asia.
Wow.
So it's teachingsintheair.ca. Do a quick plug. And we're also on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.